What is home? Is home a place? A ritual? A person? Maybe home is family, whether it's a chosen family or the one you're born into. Or maybe home is simply a place where the kettle is always on. Welcome to Circus Whispers. I'm Maaike Muis. In this episode, I take you on a journey with the very special Nolanders sisters. Lily and Melody are amazing hand-balancing acrobats, and I follow them during the creation of their first show, The Kettle Is Always On, all the way to its premiere in Amsterdam. The first time I recorded them was 73 days before the premiere. Their love for circus started early on in their youth.
Lily, and I'm Melody. Can you hear the difference in my voice?
This is Melody.
I'm from the States originally. I've lived in the Netherlands for like 8 years. I went to school in code arts, and now I'm living in Helsinki, Finland.
Yeah, also from the States, we're sisters.
A circus teacher happened to come to their small town in Oregon, and immediately the sisters fell in love with circus. Not long after, the teacher asked their parents if they'd like to join too. And their parents, Red and Heather, thought, why not? And before long, they decided to start a circus group together, Troupe Nolanders, with the 3 young sisters, the parents, and started to make shows. During this time, they lived as a family in a converted school bus, and the girls were homeschooled. And by choosing this lifestyle and choosing to work together as a family, it brought mutual lessons, from parents to kids and vice versa.
I think, especially as a parent, it's really commendable to put yourself into this position where you also say in front of your kids, I'm a beginner. And that taught us so much outside of circus about how you can be in the world, that it's okay to not know and to just try something. And maybe sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But that was also a bit the point of the project and this whole process of trying to do circus as a family. I don't think that our parents ever thought they will definitely end up doing this as a profession. That was really not the point. And actually, that's been the continuous surprise of this journey, is realizing, wait, we're actually all still doing this? That's wild. The fact that we make another show under the name of Nolanders is a really beautiful full circle moment, because we found our way back to each other and back to that project.
Now back to their performance. Where did this creation start?
I think this project started out of the sense that we had that while we're very close and we have a lot in common, we're also very different people. And circus is one of the things that bring us together. So we feel that for us as a duo, but probably for a lot of people in the audience, they also have this relationship with one or more other people who you love each other and you really want to live life somehow in a connected way, but you have some bridge that you need to create between you. And for us, circus is this.
Yeah, I think that we knew we always wanted to find a way to work together again. And now it's been almost a decade that we've been doing our own projects. So this was a real homecoming in some sense, but also a brand new collaboration where we were meeting each other as artists, as individuals, in a completely new way that is just an entirely different dynamic from when we were kids.
Yeah, so one of the starting points for this show was the idea that ritual plays an unexpected role in our daily lives. I mean, we had this unconventional upbringing. We didn't maybe engage in a lot of the traditional rituals that someone would.
The sisters moved schools and places a lot, and they weren't part of an organized religious community either. So how did they create an alternative for the desire to make sense of things and to feel connected?
We realized that circus came to play a really important role in finding ritual in our life, because it was the way that we got into every community, everywhere that we entered. It was the way that we sort of felt grounded no matter where we were traveling. And we wanted to speak about that on stage because we think for us it's circus, but probably everybody has something like this which connects them back to themselves and to the places where they live.
Also reflecting back on our childhood, we noticed moments in our lives where we we did share this also with family members or with friends. And one big one for us was also just our grandma's afternoon tea that she always had. And this was somewhere that she always invited us when we were around, and she invited other friends and other family members to join. And it was something that was special to her, regular to her, something where it was a moment to connect. And so in the last letter that she wrote to me, the final line of it was, "The kettle is always on." And this is really the feeling we take with us into the show is, you always have a place to return home to, and also to share with others.
And how do you get from these themes to an actual performance?
I mean, we take inspiration from this ritual of the daily tea time as being a place that we meet in between everything else that happens with ourselves and between us in life. It's always somewhere that we come back to also in the show, the setting of having a tea, taking the time to see each other, actually.
Mm-hmm. And we also use this as an example of a situation of how you can show up and how you do show up in different phases of life between, sibling relationships, because for us, that's something that has transformed over the years. And so in this show, we also navigate being on the same page, being in completely different states of mind. How do we connect? How do we find each other? How do we inhabit what's important to the other person while still keeping what's important to us? So those are kind of all topics that we bring into this situation of ritual.
I think for us, it's been about just recognizing and trying to follow where the physical material is leading. So we start with a lot of prompts for improvisation and different topics that we'd like to research in a physical way, or also between us through conversation, through talking with friends or other people in the community. And this process of narrowing down the content of the show has also been in response to really what comes out in the studio and what that's telling.
But then as we started to research more and more for the show, we realized, whoa, this show is kind of about us. Like, this is really about our relationship. And somehow it felt much more authentic to speak about it from our, very personal perspective. And ritual is still definitely the underlying theme in the show. But in a sense, the show itself would look very different if we spoke about it in a more general sense compared to the evolution of our sister relationship and what it's like to navigate also working and being close to a sibling.
And the fun thing is now you're trying to find the words for it, whereas when we see you on stage, you don't need any words to express these things, right? That's one of the beauty of circus. But of course, a show is more than acrobats alone. You need light, sound, set design, costume, direction, an outside eye, technician, production, and luckily for this project, Lily and Melody work together with a whole team of talented people.
So this is our costume forest. They're all sort of hanging about and breathing in between the rehearsals. And you can see there are a lot of different pieces laying flat, and some of those attach to make a different version of the costume. For instance, you have Lily's pants, which detach partway through to become shorts. And then you have these other two pieces of fabric, which are formed by triangles. And many of the pieces of the costumes actually transform during the show as we ourselves transform on stage.
Wow, wouldn't that be great to have that in real life?
It would be, actually, very practical. We met with Lisa very early in the process. She was the first person that we actually sat down with of the artistic collaborators. And we had specific ideas of certain images that we wanted to create, but no idea how to practically make it happen. So she brought a lot of technical expertise. And then throughout the process, as we gained more clarity about the order of scenes in the show, she was able to refine the designs based on when certain effects needed to be used. And that's a crazy level of specificity and precision to have in your capacity. So I'm just so impressed with her.
Yeah, it is quite amazing. And also, in a sense, how our costumes transform related to each other's characters on stage. So how can we have individual transformations within, our own shirt or our own pants, but also where we merge as characters and have these images, and the fact that our shirts can button on their own or they can be combined with the other person's shirt. So
You almost need like an extra week of rehearsal with all these intricate designs and all these possibilities of the clothing.
Yeah, there are so many possibilities, and to understand also dramaturgically what we're saying by transforming the clothing, in which moment it should happen, with which rhythm, who causes the transformation, is it something you do to yourself or to the other? All of these questions we needed to find out.
We see practicality, multi-purpose designs. I see it in the costumes as well as the set of their performance, and it reminded me of circus life. A life of being used to pack lightly, to live in a caravan, a converted school bus, or a hotel room. Lily and Melody learned how to pack light from early age on. What are 3 key things they always bring?
I think for me, the first key thing is my bullet journal, because I keep all of my thoughts, my organization, my planning and reflection in there. And then I need a pen in order to use the bullet journal. And to keep my body alive, I need the peanut so I can roll out my back.
What's a peanut?
A peanut is this like silicone massage ball. And it saved my life so many times.
it's quite important.
What's it for you?
Yeah, for me, I always had a little bag, a little backpack inside of my normal backpack. And it was annoying when I was moving my normal size backpack to use up this space, but it always became extremely practical for little adventures. So definitely a smaller backpack, a water bottle for sure, and a toothbrush. A toothbrush, that's an essential, you know? Can't go anywhere without a toothbrush. So with these things, I would say I was always ready for a little adventure.
Honestly, the water bottle is a really good one. You don't get too far without water.
No, it's true.
Well, if you combine your things, then
It has happened so many times, actually, where you end up having all the right things because you have a bit of a sharing dynamic. And so we've helped each other out along the way many, many times. Hey, do you have a pen I can borrow?
That's true. We're good travel buddies by now.
now, of course, I only witnessed the journey of the sisters towards their premiere for a tiny fraction of the whole creation process. Luckily, Melody and Lily were kind enough to share some voice notes of the process towards a premiere. 183 days till premiere.
I'm making the table. I wanna be a part of it. Making the table. Why are we recording this?
57 days till the premiere.
That was really fun. So thanks.
It was really fun.
It was really fun. I had more fun in today's run than in any other run.
Which was funny because I was literally feeling the worst. Like,
Yeah.
just sick and headache and eyes like so deep in my head. Just sunken.
Eyes so
painful.
sunken and deep.
Eyes so sunken and just like body tired, body painful. And just feeling generally like we had kind of a rough start to the day.
Yeah.
Where like that was one of our bigger arguments. Like, no,
I don't think it was, actually.
It wasn't one of our deeper arguments, but it was one of our like surface level arguments that like blew up for no reason.
Yeah, about something really
About
stupid.
something really stupid, and I felt the desire to like to kind of yell at you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think part of that's just coming from like my physical
Yes.
state today,
Yes.
and being like really not feeling good and really just. I mean,
I think this is maybe also something like we've talked about. How do we handle conflict or friction within this process? And I think what it is like we address it sooner and we move on sooner.
It's true. And I never really have the feeling that like something is still lingering.
No.
So yeah, moon is very bright.
Moon is very
and
bright.
it's Wednesday.
Moon is very bright and it's Wednesday. Signing
is
off.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah,
it's
okay,
Wednesday
it's
still. Cool.
6 days till the premiere.
We made like some quite big changes to the music in the show today that made everything feel like it makes more sense. It's quite funny to realize this way in which we each have our own style. Everyone that we collaborate with has their own style, but in a certain degree of completion, the show also begins to have its own style. Yeah, and it starts to be more identifiable as we reach this point in the process. Yeah, it's nice to feel that. Yeah.
And going back to rituals, with the premiere around the corner, do Lily and Melody have rituals before they go on stage? Lily explains how the rituals have changed over the years, from when she was a kid to where she is now.
Like I always had to do, like I did like a tuck up handstand and I looked at my toes, like I did tuck up from my knees, and I did this one specific handstand right before I went on stage, and I was like, okay, if it feels this way, the performance is going to go right, and if it doesn't feel good, then it's not going to go well. And I've really moved away from those kinds of practices just the more that I understood about myself, and that it's way less about striving for a perfect result, and it's much more about staying open, especially when performing with another person, because every show is going to be a bit different. And so knowing that going into it and actually welcoming that, that's really what I try to do before going on stage.
And in that sense, like that feeling of being open to whatever happens and meeting the moment is something that we give ourselves permission to try to tap into for performing, but it's also the state that I would love to inhabit more in daily life. And I think that's what I enjoy so much about circus as a profession, is it really gives you the opportunities to practice that. But I'm always looking for bringing that energy into my daily life as well.
And can you?
Sometimes, on a good day, on a good moment, every moment you have another chance, right?
True.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I think this is a great way to move through life. Like, of course, you're always, it's a great reminder, I guess, to also bring yourself back to what is really the core of it and what's important. Yeah.
And then, finally, the day. In a lovely theatre in the south of Amsterdam, Theater de Landing, the audience gathers, and even their parents, Heather and Red, traveled from the States to see the show. I spoke to them how they felt right before the doors opened.
We're so excited because, oh my gosh, all these years of training and traveling, and yeah, it's the culmination of like all of the work. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's been such a long journey for the family, and then to see that the children decide to pick this up on their own, and then just the entire process of them creating a show and working together, and it's just a beautiful thing to see, the girls. And we're so excited.
But also honoring the grandmother. Whose grandmother are they referring to?
His mother.
Yes, exactly. That was my mother, and something she had said to them many years ago that they held on to. And it's just amazing. You never know what you're going to hold on to when somebody says something to you and what effect it will have. And it was just a simple comment that became this entire creative endeavor.
I sneaked on stage just before the show to see how Lily and Melody were doing. Hello. How are you?
Good. Yeah. We're having our final moments before the premiere.
Yes, we're just warming up, going through a couple of the scenes that feel like they connect us. So yeah, it's just the final moments. We're going to put our costumes on in a second, and we're really excited.
I'll leave you to it. And then 50 beautiful minutes of seeing everything coming together. Their sisterhood, their personalities, Lily curious and jumpy, Melody more grounded and a quieter energy. One continuous flow of feelings, dynamics, and very precise acrobatics. Tea, party roller whistles, and then what did the audience think?
Yeah, amazing to watch them perform together, and it was super nice that there were also no words.
I think it was a wholesome performance to see how they interact with each other, and I think because I recognized it, I thought, oh, I see this family dynamic, and they come together eventually, so that makes it wholesome again.
And what I bring from this show is really that we can rely on the other, and we can lay our head on the other's shoulder, and we can trust them to make this great moment for us as well.
And of course, I spoke to Heather and Red about their thoughts after the show.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, geez, my first impression was that it was like very reflective of our family and of this girls' dynamics as sisters.
Well, such a personal sort of memory almost for us to see the girls performing this and their personalities and their relationship. And it was very much like a fast-forward version of our lives, watching the girls grow and mature in their relationship as it's changed over the years. And it was, very, very personal that way, powerful.
We had no idea it would be based on their sibling dynamics, but at the same time, oh my goodness, it was like very beautiful and poignant and powerful all at the same time. Just loved watching the acrobatics come together and their personalities really, really coming through in all the different aspects of the show.
And what was it like for Lily and Melody?
How are you? Wow, I'm doing really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm still very much processing what just happened. Melody and I were talking about before, like, it's never your first premiere again. And I'm very happy with how it went. And both Melody and I looked at each other in the beginning of the final scene when we both sit down at the table with our cups, and we just looked like our eyes just watering at one another. Because this is what the show is about. Like, it's just about being together and celebrating in whatever small way that might be. And I just feel super, super proud of also the whole team and the effort and the time that they've put in to making this happen. And like so many brains and hearts and eyes went into this. And I feel like I can take a deep breath because, it's just been such a journey and such a learning experience. I mean, this is definitely one of those moments where I think you look back in life and it stands out.
I'm happy. It was a really, really fun show. Lily and I had a lot of fun on stage together. It was really nice to feel this connection with the audience for the very first time because we never did it for very many people. So it felt really different in a fun way. Even our parents were here. Like, it was so special. And the ritual that's in the show is inspired by one of our grandmothers. And today we also had this thought of like the lineage, the traditions, the things that our parents set in motion by starting to do circus when we were younger, and this sort of line that you can follow that all leads here, the line of the past 6 months of making this show, and the line that started a lot earlier than that. So it was a very profound integration moment of things.
This was Circus Whispers, following The Kettle Is Always On, premiering at This Is Not a Circus Festival on January 29th, 2026. The music in this episode, apart from the opening tune, is from composer Luke Dean, who composed it for the performance and was so kind to let me use it for this podcast. Thanks to Lily and Melody for letting me follow their journey, and of course big thanks to Tent for producing the show and This Is Not a Circus. Thanks to Red and Heather for sharing their thoughts, and The Kettle Is Always On is currently touring in the Netherlands and is available for touring all around the globe. Further credits: costumes Lisa Chudala, set design Luca Viol, music and sound design Luke Dean, dramaturgical advice Aurelia Brailovsky, outside eye Noémie Wagner, light Syrian Mason, and in co-production with Theater de Landing and Theater Perplex. Thanks for listening, and for more info visit tent.eu. Circus Whispers.